Okay, this is the entrance to Wedding Canyon. I'm doing a loop Wedding Canyon to Independence Monument and coming back out Monument Canyon. I think most people go the other direction if they do the loop at all. I haven't seen a single person since I left the trailhead, and I haven't really been at it very long. I probably haven't even come a whole mile, although I think I've come close to it. Seen some wildlife. I saw a bighorn sheep. Unfortunately, I wasn't in a position where I could get a good view of it. It's been really quiet, like I said. I haven't seen a person in a long time. Out this way is Fruita and Grand Junction. You can see the Book Cliffs on the far side. I-70 runs through there, and I've heard a little bit of noise from the freeway, but even that's starting to fade as I get further up into the canyons. So it's a beautiful day for hiking. It's kind of cool. I paused briefly a few minutes ago in the shade to eat a Pop-Tart. I realized I hadn't eaten and my stomach was rumbling a little bit. I hadn't eaten anything all day. So I stopped and ate a Pop-Tart, and it was kind of cool in the shade. And now I've been stopped here for, I don't know, a minute or two, and it feels a little cool. But of course it's perfect weather for when you're walking, because when you're walking, it warms you right up. Right there you can see an arch that's getting ready to form. This is the same reddish sandstone that they have in Moab, topped with the same tannish sandstone that they also have in Moab. Over here you can see the darker Precambrian rock that underlays it. Yeah, it's a beautiful day. This is maybe not as spectacular as Moab, maybe, but even that I'm not convinced. This has got some nice stuff in it. It's just in a nice package here at Colorado National Monument. Anyway, I'll take more pictures and try to get a little bit more video too. I've reached the top of this ridge. Looking out here at the mouth of the canyon, you can see how far I've climbed. A little bit out of breath. Not that far in terms of linear distance, but obviously gained a bit of elevation. And now that I'm on top of the ridge, you can kind of see into the canyon itself. There's the monument, Independence Monument. It's closer than I thought, so I don't know, maybe I have done more than I thought. There's some of the other monuments. This is an impressive canyon. The guy who used to live here, a cowboy named Otto, apparently called this Wedding Canyon because he held his wedding in this canyon. Anyway, over there by the monument, it loops together with the Monument Trail, or connects to it. The Monument Trail comes back to the same place where I left my car. It's actually the Monument Trail trailhead. So anyway, the morning's slipping away from me. You can see the east side of the canyon still shadowy, but the shadows are not as big as they used to be. I didn't start as early as I hoped. I drove around a lot, got some paperwork, found my campsite. Didn't start till after 10 or even 10:30, so I didn't even check the time, but it's not noon yet, obviously, and the sun is just kind of starting to come up over the canyon wall. The west side of the canyon's been in the sun, obviously, for a while. Anyway, still a beautiful day. I've seen now one group of hikers that left the trail at the same time I did, and they obviously were moving a lot faster, and they've done the loop and they're almost done. So I'm going a lot slower, taking my time, especially on these climbs, stopping a lot to catch my breath. A little out of shape. I'm not used to the elevation, I'm not used to the dryness, so I'm just taking it easy. I'm actually ahead of schedule. I didn't plan on even doing any big hikes today, so I'm ahead of schedule. So I figured if I get this one done nice and slow, then it's a good start to the rest of my trip, and it even buys me time to do maybe an extra hike before I move on to the next area where I'm going to be. But yeah, having a good time so far. I don't know what this formation is called. Considering this is Wedding Canyon, it kind of looks like a wedding chapel a little bit. Over here is Independence Monument. I'm sure on the video it doesn't look super close, but actually it really kind of is. And if I get much closer, I won't be able to get any perspective to show you what it's like at all. I'm starting to hear more people getting close to the monument and the place where the trails join. I've actually made pretty good time the last little bit. Once I stopped climbing from the base of the mesa up into the canyon floor level, it's been much easier. There's a lot of little ups and downs, but they're just little ones. It's the consistent climb of several hundred feet. I don't know, probably close to 1,000 feet to get up here, which was the real work. And there's more to climb if I keep going up the canyon, but I'm not sure how much I'm going to go. I'm certainly enough to do the loop, but there's also the Monument Canyon Trail continues up the Monument Canyon for some time, all the way up to, actually all the way up to the rim, which you can see is still quite a bit over my head, maybe another 700, 800 feet, 1,000 feet maybe, higher than where I am now. So all the way from the valley floor where the trailhead was to the topmost point it's at least a good 1,500 to 2,000 feet. I gotta look at my map and tell you how tall it really is, but I don't intend to climb that much. The climbing's hard work, and where I'm kind of old and fat and out of shape, I'm really feeling it. But now that I'm just kind of walking on, I don't want to say level, so you can kind of see from the trail, it does an awful lot of ups and downs, but they're just little ups and downs. And overall, the net effect is that it's not super hard work. And I'm doing quite well here, feeling like I'm moving quicker than I thought, and I'm, like I said, almost to the monument. Not that you can tell in this video because it looks far away, but you know, if it's a quarter mile, I'd be surprised. Half mile, maybe it's, no, if it's a quarter mile, I'd be surprised. So I'll be there very shortly, and I'll do another video there, I think. I didn't intend to do another video yet, but from this angle I can see this other formation. So we're getting really close. And then we'll be up there. We'll see where this trail goes. So the wedding chapel looks like connects to the canyon, makes this little loop here. Some of these voices I've been hearing, don't know if you can see them, probably not. There are some climbers up there, and that's who I've been hearing. Anyway, I paused because some people were coming up behind me and I let them pass. There are some climbers up here on the face of this, and as you can also see, the trail, I don't know if that's the same trail as mine. I really should look at my map, but it's been easy enough to follow that I haven't bothered. The trail looks like it goes up there, but that might be a social trail for climbers. I'm not sure it's the hiking trail that does the loop. But the sun's come up more. I'm not finding nearly as much shade over here on this side anymore. But beautiful day, hardly a cloud in the sky. Only some very high altitude wispy clouds. It's exactly what you want in the desert, right? There's a little arch right there. There's a little arch right there. Anyway, I'm still having a great time. Alright, I've walked a little bit further. I'm now at the base of the monument. Looks like I don't have to go follow that trail up to the actual base, but I could. But I've come around the corner and I see more formations. And this is, I guess, the junction of Wedding Canyon and Monument Canyon. So Monument Canyon continues off that way. Wedding Canyon, back where I came from. Here is the wall that separates the two. Anyway, yeah, that's where we are. Other side of the monument a little bit. So where I just took that last video a few minutes ago, it was only a few minutes ago, you probably could see some signs if you looked very closely, and that was a trail junction. I had gone 2.5 miles from the trailhead up Wedding Canyon, and I could either turn right, which I did, to the upper Monument Canyon Trail, which goes 3.5 miles further up the canyon. It gets very steep at the very end, but I Didn't intend to take it all the way to the very end. And another 2.5 back to the trailhead through Lower Monument Canyon, which is this way. I'll have to come back and do that later. So the loop itself is only about 5 miles, and I did half of it. But I'm going to add to that however far up Upper Canyon I hike. And then when I get to the point where I turn around, I just have to turn around and come back. There's no way to make a loop out of that. So I'll probably go another couple, 2 to 3 miles up when it starts getting really steep and climbing all the way up to Rim, and it does climb all the way up to Rimrock Drive, which is up there at the top of the rim. I will not go that far, but if I get to the point where I'm starting to climb, I'll probably turn around and come back. But you know, it looks rough enough. I don't think it's going to be just it's not flat, but it's not a lot of climbing either. So I think it'll be sort of like what I have just done after I kind of got up to the canyon floor. I know that it does climb, but like I said, if I remember correctly, it does most of that climbing kind of at the end of the trail, and it does relatively little climbing before then. So we'll see how much I do, how much I feel like. This is all gravy. I actually was gonna drive into Grand Junction today, get set up, and then just do some little hikes and driving around. I'm ahead of schedule, the fact that I'm even doing this today at all. So this was tomorrow's itinerary, which I'm doing today. And since I'm doing it today, that gives me time to explore something else that I didn't think I was going to have time to explore. And I guess I should say, it also gives me time to, you know, hopefully when I get up in the upper trailhead, I've run into a couple people now as I got here up to the monument itself, but not very many. But as I go up to the Upper Canyon, I hope and expect I will see fewer people. Maybe I'll just kind of stop and relax and take it easy part of the time too. Out the mouth of Monument Canyon to the Book Cliffs. I didn't go very far. I actually stopped and talked to some people who are coming by. It didn't occur to me, this being Monday, of course, it's P-Day. So I saw 2 sister missionaries along with an older, looked like retired couple, and they had been out hiking. And they had started all the way at the rim and were coming down. But it was interesting to talk to them. He pretty much told me what I expected. I can go a good 2.5 miles before it starts getting really steep off this direction. He also told me that the Wedding Canyon climb is by far the hardest part of this whole thing that I would be doing. So, because I didn't realize that I had jumped right into the hardest part. I gotta admit, I was a little discouraged that it was as hard as it was, and I was thinking, man, I'm in worse shape than I thought. This is gonna be tough. But he says that was by far the toughest part of what I'll be doing. So, and so far that seems to be the case. I'm making much better time, even though I'm stopping and doing these videos a lot more often. But I'm making much better time, and you know, just having a much easier time of it. So maybe it was actually kind of good that I did the hardest thing first and found out that I could do it without too much trouble, even though it was harder than I thought. But if it ends up being that the rest of it's not nearly that hard, then I will be, and I found that out, I will be very encouraged for the rest of my week of hiking, I think. Anyway, I'll do another video when I have a different angle to see. And then once again, here's, oops, there's my finger. There's the monument. I'm at the base of it on the far side. And I'm really enjoying this pinyon pine and juniper forest. There's more of them than I thought. They're not very tall. I'm taller than a lot of these trees, but it really kind of gives it a very much more vegetated look than you'd think. Anyway, I'll do another video when I see another angle. Talk to you later. Good angle of the monument from this side. You can kind of see the Z, although the top of it doesn't show very much from this angle. When I'm up higher, you can see it. Got this gorge here. I just kind of came around. Beautiful hike. One thing I forgot to mention when I was talking to those guys I had done some research last night when I pulled into town. I was kind of curious how many people lived here. It said the census says Grand Junction has a population of about 60,000 people, and the total metro area about 150,000. Wikipedia claims that the LDS population is about 0.96%, which is not very high. But I'd seen somewhere else that said that there were 5% of the population. Now this guy I just talked to said that 10% of the population is LDS, although less than half of them are active, so maybe that's where 5% comes from, by people self-identifying. But he said, yeah, there's 4 wards in Fruita alone, which I thought was kind of a small town. Grand Junction has 2 stakes, so I don't know, I like this place. I could live here. This would be a fun place to retire to. Well, I've come around the formation, which is right here now, called Kissing Cousins, and I'm at the very base of it. I haven't really gone too far. You can still see Independence Monument over there. There's a view out the mouth of the canyon. It's been a little bit more work than I thought. There's been kind of a lot of up and down. I went down, lost a lot of elevation going down into a gully, and then had to come up again on the other side. And of course, I'm going to end up having to do that in reverse. Get a view of this new formation here. I also finished up my first water bottle. So, and it's also obviously past noon. I didn't actually even look at the time, but it's obviously past noon. This is the eastern walls of the canyon. They're no longer in shadow. They're in sunlight. In fact, the shadows you can see right here are kind of pointed towards the mouth of the canyon now. As the day gets longer, we'll start having shadow on this side, which is the west side, but we're not there yet. That won't be for another couple more hours, I don't think. Anyway, because my water bottle's out and because it's about lunch time, I figured it'd be a good point to stop, take my backpack off. I'm not carrying a full backpacking backpack, but I've got some extra water, some food, a jacket in case it gets cold, a headlamp in case I'm out later than I think, a couple other things that I'm carrying around in there. Feels nice to have it off. It's not super heavy, but it's heavy enough that you really notice it when it's off. I also took my gloves off. I hike with trekking poles, and to keep from getting blisters, I wear some, my youngest son bought me some workout gloves. Unfortunately, I don't use them enough for working out. They're weightlifting gloves, but they're fingerless gloves. I use them, I've been using them today to keep from getting blisters, but it felt good to get them off too. Felt like they were a little tight on my hand, so I may leave them off for a little while, just to let my hands breathe, and then put them back on later again. But yeah, I'm going to stop. I'm going to switch out. I'm going to get a nice big drink, and then switch out my water bottle, and eat a couple of cheese sticks, I think. And maybe we stopped here for 20 minutes, half an hour at the most. Like I said, I don't want to ever feel rushed. I want to really feel like I come out into the wilderness to enjoy myself, not make a big death march out of it. So I don't like to go too fast, and I don't like to go too far. But I've gone at least a mile, maybe more, since picking up the Upper Monument Valley Trail, and I have not seen a single person on it, with the exception of that older couple and the sister missionaries, which isn't surprising. I mean, it's on Monday. It's Monday, the 1st of April. It's spring break for me, but probably not for anybody around here or most of the rest of the country, and it's a work day. So it's been kind of quiet. The only time I really saw a bunch of people was, there were some people at the trailhead. Looked like most of them were headed up to the monument, and in fact, a lot of them had gone to climb Independence Monument. So it's been kind of quiet. I'm just going to kind of take my time, take a nice little break. Like I said, 20, 30 minutes. Probably not 30, but 20 minutes. Get a nice big drink, eat a little snack, sit and relax, let the breeze cool me back off. Enjoy the scenery, enjoy the quiet, enjoy the solitude, and hike a little bit further up the canyon. I want to come around this next corner, and I need to, while I'm stopped, I'm going to pull up my map and look at it. I think if I come around this next corner, I'll see the coke ovens further up this canyon. If not, I'll be sure and go see the coke ovens from above and take some pictures of them, because they're pretty cool. And I have some pictures, but I'll take a video too. I have some pictures when I blew through here last time, and I was just thinking about that. I really wanted to see Colorado National Monument about 2.5 years ago, and I spent an hour or two here, and it was on my way back from the family reunion in Sundance that my wife's family had. My oldest son, Spencer, was just about to come home from his mission. So my wife and my daughter had actually flown home early to go get some stuff ready. I was driving home with the two younger boys, and Logan had been really sick, and we stopped here, and he was just really sick. And he wouldn't even get out of the car. And so we didn't really do any hiking. I just kind of did some driving around, took some pictures of different viewpoints on the Rimrock Drive. And then we hit the road again, and we made it all the way to Omaha. At which point, late in the night, and it was late, and he had not improved, and I finally took him to the hospital, and it turned out that he was in the middle of DKA, diabetic ketoacidosis, and his blood sugar was up at 800. It was kind of a miracle that he hadn't gone into a coma already. In fact, it was kind of a miracle that I knew what to do with him at all. I was very reluctant to take it. We just thought he was just sick. He had the flu or something. And so I just wanted to push and come home, and I just had this funny feeling as we went to bed, even though it was late. It was midnight, maybe even later. I just had this funny feeling that I better not go to sleep, and if I did, there was going to be trouble. So I got up, took him to urgent care where he got diagnosed, and they, of course, called an ambulance, took him to the hospital, put him on an insulin drip, and we ended up spending several days in the hospital in Omaha. Only halfway home, I missed my son Spencer getting home from his mission. He got off the airplane, and only my wife and my daughter were there, and he's kind of like, "Where's Dad and the boys?" And I was like, "Oh, funny that. They're stuck in Nebraska in the hospital." Didn't get to see them we ended up, I ended up having to call several days in and off of work, and obviously ended up putting me behind on a major project, which we caught up on. Actually, another funny mixed blessing with that, the fact that I was able to catch up on that and turn it into something pretty cool, even though I had less time to work on it than they thought. It really impressed everybody, and I think it was an important part of me getting a promotion that I ended up getting at work. But that was my experience here, is that my son was super sick, although I wasn't going to know it yet for another 12 hours. He was in the throes of diabetic ketoacidosis, and his life was about to change forever, and ours with it. And I was here trying to sightsee, and a little bit frustrated that I didn't get to do what I wanted to do, because, Logan was really sick. Alex was kind of wasn't really very interested, just kind of wanted to get home. He was tired of being in the car with a brother who was sick. So that was my experience before, and I always kind of wanted to come back, and I always thought, for a long time, Grand Junction had just kind of been this town that was on my radar as, I want to go there, and I want to hike there, and I want to explore there. And this is finally the trip where I get to do it, and I haven't done much yet, half a day of hiking, but so far I've been very impressed, and I like it quite a bit. Anyway, like I said, I'm going to take a break, eat something, drink something. I will probably not record again until I make it around that formation. So by the time that happens, it'll probably be half an hour to 45 minutes, maybe an hour, depending on how slow I go. All right, a couple times as I've been filming videos, I've somehow accidentally closed my camera window down without stopping, so I hope I didn't just lose those videos. Anyway, I finally came around. It was a little bit longer than I thought, and as you can see, there's still plenty more canyon to go, and I could tell that from the map when I looked at it. I don't know how much of it I'm going to hike. I can't really see the coke ovens yet. I think that might be them in the distance, right? Right about here. But it's obviously not a very good view of them if it is. So I don't know how much further I'll go. I'm close to about halfway done with the water I brought, and when I'm halfway done, that's my cue to turn around and come back, right? This has been a little bit more challenging than I thought, with the ups and downs in this upper canyon trail. Not that it's been bad. As I said earlier, it wasn't bad, and I still stick with that, but it's been a little bit more work as I've put in more miles here. I've put in a few miles now since the Independence Monument. Well, I don't know about a few. I put in 1.5 miles, close to 2 miles probably, since then. And there's somewhere between about halfway to the end of the trail, if so. So I'll see how much of that I do before I turn around. I came around another formation, and it looked like that side canyon that was kind of hidden to me because it was to the right is actually the right way to go. In fact, I'm pretty sure those are the coke ovens right in front of me. Not that far away, just on the other side of the canyon. They look a little more like coke ovens if you go up there from the rim and look down on them. They look more like the kind of ovens that you use for smelting and stuff, which is why they got their name. This is a spectacular view here. I'm getting a little tired. I'm getting a little bit of a hot spot under my heels. And I think I'm getting pretty close to where the canyon gets steep and starts to climb. I think I go a little bit further this way, up close to the coke ovens, and then it starts climbing. So I probably will go a little bit further just to make sure that that's true, and then stop and take a longer break, put my fleece on, and maybe even just sit down and even doze off. Yeah, just because, that's what I come out here for, just to relax and really enjoy being far away. I've only seen one other couple of hikers, an older man with a younger boy. So it's been real quiet here on the Upper Monument Trail. I've seen 4 people total, and I've been on it for a while. I saw a couple climbers at the actual monument, and another older couple, and then a woman with 2 like college-age kids. Look like Indians, actually. I wonder what tribe they're from, but it looked like they were. So it's been really quiet. This is a nice place to go for quiet and solitude. Like I said earlier, maybe the formations aren't quite as spectacular as what you see in Arches National Park, which I've been to a couple times. And that's fair, but Arches is also crawling with hordes of people, and this place clearly is not. There's just not very many people here. Now, this isn't a super great angle to see great views, but I'll take some more video here a little bit later. Well, those are definitely the coke ovens, and I've kind of reached the cul-de-sac here a little bit. I mean, I could keep going, but not really very far. I'd have to go down. As you can see, it descends to the bottom of this little canyon, back up again, up to the base of the coke ovens, which is quite a bit higher than I am now, and then it keeps climbing steeply up there to the rim. So I think I'm going to quit now, because I've basically done it, and I don't want to climb all that. I'm going to actually backtrack a little bit, because I don't know, about 15 minutes or so ago, there were a bunch of really big flat boulders, and there were a whole ton of them, and I thought they looked like great spots to stop, but I didn't want to stop yet. But I'm gonna go back to them, I think, take my shoes off, let my feet kind of cool off a little, take my pack off, get a nice drink, eat some of my dried fruit, and just kind of relax. Put my fleece on, because I'm sure I'll cool down as I stop, and just kind of relax for a little bit. Enjoy being out here without feeling like I need to constantly be on the move, and then I'll finish. So it sounds like if I'm as close as I am, and the map seems to say that I am, I've gone most of the 3 miles of the 3.5 miles that this upper monument trail has. And combined with the 2.5 earlier, that means I've done about 5 to 5.5 miles, and I've got about that much to do again on the way back, even though at the fork, I'll take the lower Monument Canyon Trail instead of the Wedding Canyon Trail. It's still about the same distance and it gets me to the same place. So all in all, about an 11-mile hike, 10 to 11, somewhere between 10 and 11 mile hike today. And it's been pretty nice. It's a nice first day. I didn't really hit it too hard. I've kind of come to realize I don't really like these death marches anymore. So I used to plan them and I used to do them, but I didn't enjoy them as much as I thought. I didn't want to be on the move that much. I want to take my time and just enjoy being out here. That's really kind of the main reason I love coming to these kind of places. Anyway, this is spectacular kind of end of the canyon. I mean, I could still, if I were really so inclined, I could go explore up into the upper reaches of some of these, but you know, as you can see here, this is what they look like. They just kind of, you know, they kind of have this U-shaped end, and then there's the Rimrock Drive. You can kind of see it on the bench up there. It's the Rimrock Drive, and then you know, there's the coke ovens right there. Probably can't see them very well because of the lighting, but you can see them really well from the Rimrock Drive. Anyway, it's been a nice day, and I'm gonna go back and take my break. I'll probably pick up again right before I leave. Okay, well, I did rest. I did not sleep, but I did lay on this pretty flat rock for, I don't know, half an hour, 45 minutes. I still haven't even looked at the clock. Isn't it? It's kind of nice, actually. I have no idea what time it is, but I would just guess based on the position of the sun, it's probably getting close to 2, or maybe around 2, maybe a little after. I ate some dried blueberries, another beef stick. Finished up my first bottle of Powerade. Unfortunately, I now just feel kind of groggy and stiff. So I'm not sure that's exactly what I was hoping for, but once I get moving again, I'm sure it'll kind of sort itself out. But I'm not feel very motivated to get moving right now, so it's taking me a few minutes to get going. But I am ready. I just need to pick up my hiking poles and get started. So I'll go ahead and do it, and I'll see you down the trail in a little bit. Okay, I am right underneath the kissing couple again, which means that this big wall here that I've just come around, which is now all in shadow, is Cleopatra's Couch. And I'm getting reasonably close to the fork where I would actually be able to do new trail again. I've had a little bit of a harder time since my break. I think I was a little too stingy with the water I packed, and I needed at least one more bottle, and I needed to be drinking it a little bit more than I have. So I had to stop at the gas station this morning because my car was almost out of gas and it just needed to be done anyway. I grabbed a 20-ounce Baja Blast, which I drank in the car, and I ended up having to drive around for about an hour or two. Well, 2, maybe even 3 before I started hiking. So I drank that. I also got 2 Powerades for my hike, and I grabbed 2 water bottles, and the water bottles are smaller than the Powerades. The Powerades are, you know, big and fat like Powerade bottles are. And so the 2 Powerade bottles were probably more or less equivalent to 3 water bottles. So basically I had a Baja Blast before I left, and I've had both of the water bottles now. I just finished the second one, and I've had one of the Powerades, and I've got 1 Powerade left. And still a good 3 to 3.5 miles left to hike. 3.5 probably. Although a lot of it will be downhill, and I've actually been in the shade a little bit more than I thought. So I know, I guess now, that I need to bring, I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to refill. There's water at my campsite. I'm staying in the official campsite. There is water there. I think I'm going to refill my Powerade bottles and bring them both with me, and then bring 3 or even 4 water bottles. Drink one before I go, and try and just do a little bit more water on days like this. I did actually have to pee a little bit. I know this sounds kind of personal, but when you're talking about being dehydrated and hiking, actually this is your indicator. How often do you have to go to the bathroom? If you can hike all day and you don't ever have to pee, that's probably bad news. So I have twice, a little bit, and it was really, really yellow, which means could be worse, but mostly it could be better. So yeah, I need a little bit more water. I could tell I was getting a little bit of a headache. I've just been a little bit out of it ever since my rest, and I think that part of it is because I am getting a little bit dehydrated. I also had some kind of cold or something before I started, so I have been taking Dayquils and NyQuils for the last few days while I've been on the road. There's the package I got, they're in pills. The package I got has 2 doses of Dayquil for every 1 dose of NyQuil, which makes sense because they last for about 8 hours, and if you divide the day into 8, you're asleep for 1 of those and you're awake for 2 of them. So I just took one. I also have some cough drops with me. I haven't really been coughing in spite of what you just heard, but it's nice because it keeps my mouth from feeling dry. It kind of coats it with a nice cool coating. So I've enjoyed. This is my second one I'm on now, and I have another one in my pocket, so I don't have to dig it out of my backpack. I'll probably take it before I go. And then when I get to the car, excuse me, I just said I haven't been coughing, and now suddenly I am. When I get to the car, I'm going to probably chug the water bottle that I should have brought with me. And I think I'll be okay, but I do need to be a little bit more prepared. I guess I wasn't sure how much I would hike, and I wasn't sure how thirsty I'd be, and I'm a little more thirsty than I thought. I'm then I think just a little bit dehydrated. So I haven't been taking a lot of pictures this hike back, partly because it's the same trail we already saw, and partly because I just really kind of haven't felt like it. I've just kind of been putting one foot in front of the other. I haven't really even been looking up. It's been just kind of, let's get back. It's not, this isn't the exciting part of the hike. This is we need to just get back part of the hike. So I'm going to try and continue to go slow, continue to take it easy and be laid back and enjoy myself. I still have a whole big Powerade, and I do want, excuse me, geez, I do want to actually finish it by the time I get to the car, so I can just pop open a water bottle and chug it as soon as I get there. So I'm gonna try and not hoard it quite so much for the remainder of this trip. Anyway, I'll tell you how it goes. I don't know how much more video I'm going to make before I get back to the car. Maybe not a lot, so we'll see. Okay, I'm at the fork. There's the monument behind me. There's a Wedding Canyon out that way, Lower Monument Canyon out that way. It's 4:30, which is later than I thought it would be. I made that last video and was saying, I think it's about 2 or so. And as I was walking, I was seeing, boy, these shadows are longer than I would have thought. And I looked at my phone for the first time to see what the time is, and sure enough, it was later than I thought. It was almost 4. So I've kind of been in the zone for about 45 minutes or so now, just really putting the miles behind me. But I still got 2.5 to go. As long as I get to the car in the next hour and a half or so, 2 hours at the most, I should be fine. Actually, even if I take longer than that, I'll be fine. I'm prepared for it to get dark. I just don't really want it to be. It will make some things more difficult than they need to be, and it would be kind of silly to do. So I'm going to try to avoid it, of course, but it somehow did get later than I thought. I think my problem is I started too late this morning. I was in a hotel last night, obviously, right? And so, and it was at the far end of town. I had to get gas, had to go get my parks pass, went and checked out the parking lot. I just kind of drove, or I did the whole Rimrock drive. I talked to the ranger for a while. I just kind of took more time than I probably should have. And so, there's no reason for me to do that again. So I think whatever I end up doing tomorrow, and I did tomorrow's itinerary today, so I'm not sure what I'm going to end up doing yet. I need to decide that. Whatever I ended up doing, there's no reason for me to wait so long to get moving, because I'll probably wake up shortly after the sun comes up, and Don't really have to pack anything up because I'm going to be in the same camping spot for 3 nights. I kind of just have to brush my teeth, fill up my water bottles, and go. So I should probably, I mean, if I'm not on the trail by 8 o'clock or even earlier, then something's wrong. So I'll probably do a lot better tomorrow, which mostly means that I can just kind of slow down and relax. I did that most of the day today, but I've kind of had to, like I said, be in the zone and just kind of go this afternoon. And I'm pretty sure this is going to happen anyway, but I'm pretty sure now, especially after that, I'm going to wake up pretty sore and stiff. So I'm going to pop a good helping of vitamin I, some ibuprofen, first thing in the morning, and stretch and eat my Pop-Tarts, which is kind of what I brought for breakfast, and then redistribute some food a little bit and get out of here. Like I said, I should be on the trail by 8 a.m. It'll be a little bit cooler than it was today, I'm sure. So we'll see how that goes. I've been a little bit cool this afternoon because I've been in the shadow of the cliff behind me. So I may actually end up having to get my fleece out and put it on. I didn't think that while I was walking I would ever need it, but I actually might. Anyway, I'm going to get going, and I probably will not stop and take any more video until I'm back at the car. I decided to do a video after all. This is the mouth of Monument Canyon. Making a pretty good time out of it. As you can see, we're hugging the west wall this time. So definitely if you're doing this round trip, the way I did it was the way to go. Wedding Canyon in the morning, Monument Canyon in the afternoon. So you're in the shade both times. If I had done it the other way around, I would have been in the sun both times. Anyway, the theme here, and I can't see a lot of them right at this moment, but as I've been hiking this, the theme is definitely lots and lots of big tumbled boulders that we're working our way through. Anyway, I want to keep moving because I want to make sure I get to the car before it gets any later, and I still have a pretty decent ways to go, but wanted to make a quick video to show you this. Well, it's 5:45, and I can see my car up ahead. The last half mile, 3/4 mile, I don't know, maybe even longer, maybe it's a better part of a mile. I was out of the canyon, and I was actually just walking alongside of a fence that marks the edge of the monument and the subdivision next to it. So it was a little bit surreal looking to my right and seeing into the backyards of all these people's houses. It was obviously a fairly nice neighborhood. Very new, large houses. But, man, it's been a long day. I've walked probably about 11 miles. I've climbed 12 or 1,300 feet, although the net of that was something 900 something, because I did some ups and downs. And, excuse me, I am pretty beat. I had some ambitious plans to go back to the campsite and make dinner, set up the tent. It doesn't really sound very ambitious, but right now it seems more ambitious than I can handle. I think I'm going to go munch on some Cheez-Its and sleep in the car. And maybe sleeping sooner than you think. Anyway, I could see the car. I can't now because the bend with these trees and these hills are in the way, but it's only a few hundred yards away. So I'm going to sign off, finish up, and maybe I'll make a really quick video once I'm at camp. Probably going to set up my tent after all. This looks like a good spot, and after all, I'm here for 3 nights. It's just flat. It's fairly sheltered from the wind. Got this area over here too, but it's closer to the road. I like this one because it's a little further away. So yeah, we'll see. And then over here it looks like the site goes right up to kind of to the edge of the cliff, which is a little weird. Not that they expect you to camp over here, because they've obviously put, flat areas closer. This is a nice view. And there's no reason why I couldn't set up on this slick rock. I do have a nice big air mattress after all. Now this isn't really all that flat, nor is it all that protected, and I couldn't put my stakes in, which probably is okay, but this is interesting. Anyway, yeah, I'm not going to camp way over here, but this is kind of the back of my campsite. It just goes right up to the cliff here. My neighbors are sitting out on their patio, so to speak. Look at this. This is kind of unreal. Anyway, sorry, Jenny. I won't get any closer than this. Okay, so I don't know what just happened. I was recording and the thing closed. It's the third time it's happened today. I hope I haven't been losing videos. I'm kind of rethinking my plan for tomorrow. I like this campsite. It's kind of nice, kind of secluded, has a beautiful view. I might set up some of my camp chairs and read some books in the morning for a while, then go drive around on the Rimrock Drive and do some of the little short hikes that I can do, you know, without having to really go very far. And not exactly a down day, but a much easier day. I'm just feeling like I really kind of beat myself up today. And although I had fun and I enjoyed it, I don't want to do that 3 days back to back, or 3.5 days really back to back. So I'm kind of thinking that I'm gonna take it a little slow tomorrow. We'll see how it goes though. I might change my mind again, but that's where I'm leaning right now.